Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. I welcome all the panelists, and it's very exciting era that we have today, that the acceleration of innovation responsibility, strengthening the pharma and hospital synergy for patients for first high quality ecosystem in India. So the Indian healthcare is poised for a very transformative changes, and with the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals increasing the collaboration to create a patient-centric and a high-quality ecosystems. Additionally, also we are also integrating the digital healthcare platforms. So this is also very exciting era. We also have the global capability centers. That's the GCC that is driving innovation, which is we are very proud in Hyderabad to have the Novartis as well as the Eli Lilly hubs in Hyderabad, which are actually driving innovation. And also, we are also having the various public-private partnerships also which are available. So with this, I open the floor for our first panelist, Dr. Pallavi. So how do you think the quality and innovation can be achieved between hospitals and pharma companies?
So I like to thank you for all the especially the organizing committee to inviting me, and also the great leaders who is there on the stage and the down. So before we talking the between the pharma and hospitals, so I want to highlight on three aspects. First one thing is collaboration between the pharma and the healthcare industries, especially when we are doing a clinical trials or a research processes. So if the hospitals have giving access to the pharma companies, it will help them to do new drug formation or implementation, and also having a common quality metrics, both pharma and hospitals having for a better patient safety. Okay, this is the one of the biggest important for us. The second point is data-driven innovations. Now the technology is so much, we can monitor, real-time monitoring we can do. And also data analysis also will help us to monitor outbreaks, especially disease-related, and we can develop new drugs also. And the third point I want to highlight here is collaboration with the patient especially. So either a pharma or a hospital, both together working for a better patient outcomes. Collaboration with the patient in terms of involving them in the trials and also educating them, even when they are in remote places, also using a technology like telemedicine, approaching them, and continue monitoring and feedback from the patients also will help us to better efficiently we can together work together. That's what my thoughts.
Sure. Thank you very much. Patient centricity and outcome is the key for any enterprise. And the question goes to Dr. Raja. How do you think pharma companies and hospitals create touch points?
Check. Thank you, Elets, for having me here. I come from Ashram Hospitals. We are at Andhra Pradesh region, and it's really a pleasure. Thanks to the wonderful panel members, and thanks to Raza sir for stepping in place of Sudhaker. So, looking at patient centricity, we all know in healthcare, patient is the center of everything. If not for the patient, the entire healthcare industry and the pharma industry is not there. So, it's time we collaborate. It's time we bring together. There needs to be some integrated pathways. See, we had this, the classic example of this is during the COVID time. We all know that any drug research would and discovery would take about 7 years to 20 years. That's what we taught in our clinical research and all these practices. Then how come we had our COVID vaccines rolled out in a year or so? You know, it's because the industry and the pharma came together. There were a lot of real world data which was available. So it's now time again. Now India is fast moving ahead. We have a lot of EMR and EHR and also the Ayushman Bharat digital mission, which is integrating all these data points. We also have on the other end of the spectrum, the DPDP, which as healthcare professionals, we are a little scared about, just thinking about data protection that we need to do, the data security that we need to employ, and the kind of breach related aspects. So we need to come to set a secure layer of data exchange between pharma and the hospitals. So, for instance, it could be as simple as in an integrated pathway for a chronic diabetes management, where a patient, the pharma agency takes the support of the hospital through a app provided, track patient medication, what time they're having, what is the the chemokinetics of the medicine, and all those things which could be tracked over a period of time. If you look at developed countries like US, we talk about a data pool called Picorinet. Picorinet, on an average, a breast cancer data sells for about $80 to $200 with anonymized data. So that is something which we will get to. This is also going to reduce the cost for the consumer eventually. So the other important aspect is the patient support group programs. We have this in lot of high-end drugs, especially oncology drugs. We do have it in some neurology and a few other specialties. We also have device manufacturing companies also, because they're also in the pharma sector apparently. So the device manufacturing companies also offering many of these offers, 1+1, 4+2 and all those stuff. Many hospitals are not aware of it. Though they are having, and especially rural hospitals. See, I was running a 7-star hospital in the Chennai region, doing all transplants under one roof, be it heart, lung, liver, kidney, everything, all transplants. And then I took a break to come to a rural healthcare setting to improve the thing. But then when I look at it from where I am today, from Ashram, which is at Alluri, I have a completely different perspective. Our pharmacy teams or our supply chains are not aware of these patient support programs. There are very many companies which are bringing in international drugs into India in special channel, getting approval, and if the drug with consent, with all the protocols in place, and if those drugs are the efficacy is there in the patient treatment, completely the charges are waived off for the patient. Nice. So one such company is Mango Life Sciences, which operates out of Gurgaon. So there are a lot of these kind of companies. I'm just telling one, but then I just met somebody who said they have a patient support program, completely automated. So what we really need to do is pharmacy, hospitals need to come together. The chiasma region here is the technology. So when pharmacy and hospitals come together through technology and extend a lot of things for that one most important person in healthcare, the patient, the health seeker, we are good to go. That's where true patient centricity would begin. Thank you.
Thank you. I think very well said. I think even during COVID time, the whole world was together. We were learning from the world across what are the various challenges. I think that's also one of the accelerating factor how the COVID vaccines have actually fastly developed. Right. Thank you very much. Moving on to, let's touch upon technology and data integration. And Mr. Omer, how can the real world data and hospital EHR be responsible, leveraged by pharma to drive meaningful clinical insights while enduring patients' privacy, assuming the hospital are ready to share the data?
Sure. First of all, good evening and thanks Elets for having me here in this panel. Now coming to the question, pharma industry is seeing a growth of 7.4% year on year, and this is possible only because of the data analytics. That's the first point that is proved beyond doubt. Now coming to data, all this is possible because of data, and if you segregate the data into three, the entire healthcare data, if you segregate broadly into three categories, that is infectious diseases data, malignant disease data, and the lifestyle related disease data broadly in a simple language. When it comes to infectious diseases, it's very usual that in ICUs, doctors are having a challenge in getting the right medicine because of the antibiotic warfare that happens, and there is no proper antibiotic where patient could respond. So there is a scope for pharma companies to come up with new antibiotics is the need of the hour. There's a scope and there's data already available. This is about the first point. Second is malignant diseases data, which is again tumors and cancers, and which requires precise medicine, tailor-made medicine, and it goes to the level of stem cell therapy and cancer cells treatment. So again, very precise data and customized medicines required. There's a lot of scope in this. And the third one is lifestyle-based disease data, where if you take diabetes or obese, if you take diabetes for example, we have evolved to a level of a novel delivery of insulin, which is happening due to the implant already in the body, and which delivers the insulin depending on the body fluctuations is what is already there out. So this is all said, well and done, but and this is not going to be enough, because India being the top healthcare sector is going to cater to almost 80% of the world, and the demand and the requirement and the challenges, positive challenges would grow. So data analytics plays a major role, and there's a lot of scope for pharma industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think very well classified data into the infection and the oncology related and the lifestyle. So I think that's a good new insight on how kind of data can be classified for sharing. Right. Thank you very much. And moving on to the next question is at an operational lever to Dr. Isaac, how do you think the hospital can attain operational efficiency working with the pharma companies?
Thank you so much for the question, sir. A very big thank you to Elets for having us here. I am the regional CEO for Gemcare group of hospitals. We are spanned across Andhra and Telangana, and we have a special focus into multi-speciality hospitals and into oncology. So coming to the question, I will break this question into two sides, sir. One is on the operational front, non-medical side, and the clinical operation side. If at all the hospital allows and there is a collaboration, definitely the more the data, the better the results. And I personally believe if there is an integrated component where the inventory management of the hospital is connected to the pharma industry, they know the drug usage, the multi-resistant drugs which are actually working and not working on a patient. So we will have a clear mapping on every protocol. So in terms of that, you will have very structured clinical pathways present in terms of even the minutest, treatment for every patient. So that will become like an encyclopedia of treatment protocols for the hospital, because we see hospitals getting, coming to hospitals from patients coming from hospitals from different hospitals. They are referred patients from different demographic regions, and each protocol cannot be the same for all patients. So this will give an option for the clinical part of the hospital to expand its horizons. That is one. In terms of inventory management, in terms of stock keeping, in terms of, yes, we all try for just-in-time stock, but then that's not always possible because we run through multiple, issues in our own cash flow. But yes, if at all the integrated software there helps us map the consumption patterns, the high volume drugs which we need during times of disease management, it would definitely help this kind of dual impacted analysis, because maybe we are not always right on the time of stock keeping. There is a chance that we should give another person who is also coming within expertise to treat this issue. It will be for the betterment of both the systems. And apart from that, tele is the word these days. It's more of patient centricity. And now patients are preferring to, like how sir said, it's all personalized healthcare. It is patient first. So we are having to go to the patient at home, and then that's the good way of treating a patient, because not everyone wants to come to the hospital and get treated. In this way, integrating the pharma system there would definitely help, easy dispensing of drugs. Next could be task automation, where right from the drug drug ordering to the delivery to the patient, it is all in a channelized system. So operationally, that will help, reduce a lot of admin burden in a hospital. With this integration, definitely, we are going to reduce our cost, and we will have just enough, stock to run our operations regularly. This is what I would say a collaboration could, cause, it'll definitely have a successful impact, but if the hospital allows it, and, based on the privacy issues which the hospital and the company needs to have, a mutual understanding. Yes.
Sure, thank you. I think you brought in a very important point of, care pathways, which are very important. And, nowadays the NABH also, which is the regulatory body and the for hospital accreditations, I think that's also now with the 6th edition rolling off. They're also focusing big way on clinical pathway. And also GSAI earlier had it as well. So I think now we are actually moving for the standardization of care. So moving forward, the next question to Mr. Amit Jain, sir. On the synergy between hospitals and pharma companies, what is the next big opportunities in the pharma-hospital partnership for advancing value-based care?
Thank you, sir. First of all, I pay thanks to Elets for inviting me to be a part of this eminent panelist. And it's really an opportunity to speak on behalf of the industry, especially when it comes to the pharma. My name is Amit Jain. I carry around 30 years of experience, currently working with Meghmani, which is a very new age company. And we just started 12 months back, but we have realized that if we have to go long, we cannot go in silo. So the industry has to understand that how we can really collaborate, and the topic which has been chosen is very appropriate. Because so far what was happening is that hospital was mainly caring for the patient's treatment. The pharma was only being considered as a pill providing companies. But I think now whether greater emphasis is happening with the, I would say the emphasis is happening on the from volume to the value care. And this is very, very important that where the integration plays a very important role. And I think the points which are being highlighted by the other panelists, that we have lots of things, but the only challenge happens that we have to build an ecosystem that how we'll be implementing this for the best patient care. Because now the patient is very demanding. So I feel that there are 4 or 5 ways where the pharma can actually play a very important role. The first one I would say is that we can actually move away just from the drug and can offer the drug specific care bundles, right? From the diagnostics to the drug, to the nutritional care, the post-rehabilitations, and even the patient monitorings. I think if we can jointly operate, probably that can play a vital role. Secondly, I would say, and everybody is talking about the real world evidence. So hospitals have the data, but pharma is really reaching out when they actually conduct the trials. But today, most of the Indian data, if you see, they are not being published much because we lack that infrastructure, and sometimes nobody is actually taking those initiatives too. What I believe is that hospital has the data, pharma has the analytical strength. And if both we can combine together, probably we can create a good registries, and we can have a real-time positioning of the drugs that based on the patient's needs, because every patient is different. So there definitely it can play a role that how that positioning of the drugs can be given for the right care. The third way I say that now lot many things is required that where the post care, if I talk about, because generally what happens is that hospital responsibility gets over the moment a patient gets discharged. But I think as been already been said even through the technology too, that it is important that how you're connected with the patients. And there the pharma again can step in where we can provide the digital tools. We can also work out an ecosystem for the patient remote monitoring, and even we can reach out to the patient and create an ecosystem between the hospital, the pharma, and the patient. So it can become a triangle where everybody can be benefited. And another important aspect which I believe is, because when it comes to creating an ecosystem, pharma has always been considered more of a transactional relationship, I would say. So I think it has to get transformed well now. And both at the hospital front as well as in the patient front and even at the pharma industry, I think there's an ecosystem has to be created which will play a vital role. So that's a next big thing opportunity which I see is that the patient care and how we can provide the value-based care. So there the integration will be playing a very, very important role. Thank you.
Yeah, I think thank you. Very good point you brought out. I think more communication is required between the two, and I think meeting together frequently, understanding what the unmet needs are on both sides. I think that then pave way for further way ahead. Just again, if you could just sticking on to you, if you could just remove one barrier today, what to strengthen these synergies, what would they be?
So again, I would add, in continuation to my the earlier thoughts, is that we have to move out from working into the silos, right? Because what is happening is that pharma is working in the silo and hospitals are working in the silo. So we have to create a ecosystem where everybody, both, should value each other. It is not just a pill providing company. It should be considered as a value-based company, and we can assess the strengths of the people. And I could see that is happening in the India. Like there are lots of MNCs who have already started reaching out to the big corporate hospitals, and they are doing the joint programs, like Cipla for the COPDs, and they are running the breath-free clinics, even for the cancer cares, even Roche, even as well as I would say Abbott for the geriatric nutrition programs. And I would like to highlight that in the similar lines, Meghmani recently have identified that there is one unmet need, that is sarcopenia. Because this has been classified as an international classified disease by WHO in 2010 itself. But in spite of 14 years past, almost 15 years, you will find that people are only focusing on the nutrition part itself, or maybe the protein supplementations. But nobody is actually thinking that how we can really identify or can do the diagnostics of the sarcopenia into the patient, and it is one of the most neglected things. So if the pharma and the hospitals, the network as a patient comes together, even the, I would say the support people who are supporting the family members, they come together, probably we can work on a preventive care rather than a pro care or after the treatments. So that way I think we have to build up our national ecosystems. We have to build some protocols where pharma can step in very easily. The hospital should be more confident, yes. And we can also have the data integrity, which is the most important factors, because the patient data security will be very, very important. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think now crowdsourcing platforms are also available. So I think, this synergy is even more better now. Sir, Dr. Rajan, sir, one more last question. What metrics should both hospitals and pharma align on when evaluating the quality of patient innovations?
Check. I'd like to quote what Deming said. What cannot be measured cannot be improved. This was told in the midlife, but later in his life, he changed it. There are things which you can improve without measuring, because this whole thing of metrics-based management gives only, it's very objective driven. But healthcare is much more. It's got this whole emotion attached to it. It's got many immeasurable aspects. But yes, as a yardstick, we use these metrics. For example, when we look at the care delivery, we all spoke about data. Data is a new oil. But look back at the kind of data that we have. When I talk about Pecorinate in US, it's available data, anonymized data. Say, for example, if I would want to do a breast cancer trial of a stage 2B male patients in a particular region in Hyderabad, if Pecorinate kind of system is available in India, we'd be able to filter out the data and take it out. So that time, data is the oil. Today, the data that we have is crude oil. It cannot be searched. So we are not able to actually build that kind of metrics. There are efforts which are being made. As I said, the Ayushman Bharat digital mission is a wonderful effort. Many people sitting out here do not know they already have the RABA ID. For example, the government, when they did the COVID portal and got us all to take the vaccination, they have already tagged us with ABA IDs. So not many people know about it. So the whole aspect now is, what are the metrics that we need to measure? for example, from the hospital side of it, along with pharma, what are the readmission rates? What are the infection control rates? What are the various other efficacy related rates? So all these aspects would give us good insights. The other aspects now in the recent, you did mention about the NABH 6th edition. The NABH 6th edition has included a lot of clinical related aspects, about 18 other quality indicators has been added and stuff. We also have the chapter management of medication. There is a way where we can all, the industry, as in the central industry as NABH, with respect to hospitals and pharma, could integrate and do. Even the insurance patient data of readmission and all is available, digitized, not digitalized, digitized, crude oil. So that has to be refined. Now, there is good news. There is insurance health exchange on the anvil. Lot of movements in that sector as well, aligned with healthcare. So that is going to be a major thing. Another key thing is the voice of customers. Again, going by various other healthcare organizations and accreditations, the patient-reported outcomes. That is one North Star that we all need to look at with respect to understanding how industry, the healthcare industry and the pharma industry can come together to help increase the quality of patient care innovations. Today, we are all talking about quality of life scores, symptom burden scores, all these things in the patient-reported outcome measures. So all this is going to, and again, see, one thing which I have mentioned to many of the NABH officials is that we do submit all this data. But there is no repository, there is no even a visualization we get. Whereas for the EQUA system, the lab EQUA system, we get inputs. We know the validations properly. We know what is our error, this thing from the thing with the sample. But if we can start working on a greater good with respect to these quality indicator data that we are submitting, we are actually going to mine a treasure out from there. The other important aspect is the operational efficiencies. Operational efficiency is very hard to achieve. There's a lot of learning curve. Many organizations which are starting now, they take seasoned professionals from other organizations to this thing. For example, I could give about a giant diagnostic company. The giant diagnostic company would be able to give a blood glucose diagnostic at 40 rupees or 50 rupees. Because the cost per test is about 30 rupees. The overheads is another 40, 50 rupees for them, totally adding to 50 rupees. But if we are setting up a competitor lab center next to them, we'll not be able to offer. They have mapped the value chain. Those reagents which we move out after 5 months because it's short expiry or 6-month expiry, 5th month we give it back to the companies and get the credits or get the replacement. They buy that. It is still efficacy is good enough for running the test. They process in their center and provide where their overhead cost, everything is reduced. So learning curves are very important when we talk of operational efficiency. With that experience and expertise only, we can focus on cost effectiveness, which would, from the most important metric here would be from diagnosis to treatment initiation. How soon can we get that? Today, some of the high-end drugs which we are to import it and through channels and bring it, from diagnosis to treatment initiation is long. You talked about crowdsourcing platforms.
Correct.
Crowdsourcing platforms from initiation to the time the fund is accumulated to the treatment start is another big gap. So these are some metrics which we really need to look at so that the quality of the innovation in the pharma and healthcare sector could get better. But most importantly, all this need to come together. We need to be effective.
Exactly.
We need to have a sustainability.
Yeah.
And sustainability is not going and planting trees and saying we are sustainable. Sustainability starts with people. Have the right people. The next P is the process. Get the right process. Get the profit. And then you go plant trees for the planet. So the 4P methodology for sustainability with technology, if we collaborate, and bring it into this collaboration between the hospitals and pharma, we'll have different level of insights.
Right.
Till then, we are taking the crude oil and trying to make butter out of it.
Right. Thank you, sir. I think it's a good analogy of crude oil and butter. So, Omer sir, just like to final comments from your side.
Final comments. Good thing is we have evolved from patient treating to organ treating to cell treating and now subcell treating. But my request as a head of patient experience, let us not forget the first part, that is patient first, because the often social history of the patient is often ignored. And we are, since morning we are talking about technology, AI and data. Patient is also very, very important from a patient experience standpoint. I think I can take the liberty and request the entire healthcare fraternity. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. Dr. Pallavi, your last comments. Yeah.
So I'm
Final comments.
summarize. So I'm surprised to see like most of the hospitals we see quality people talk about the matrices, everything. Now the leaders are, especially organization leaders, are talking about the matrices more happy to us. And also it is, as sir said, a patient is first. Moreover, technology, whether it's a hospital or a pharmacy company, working together for a better patient safety only. To improve the quality of care and safety, together, if you work, we can more effectively implement things. That's what I think.
Sir, would you like to final comments?
After hearing everyone and seeing both the sides of the coin, definitely I think it's ethics, transparency, right people and right place. I think I would sum up with that, because there is an opportunity which we need to tap. There is a place where we need to maintain ethics, and there is a goal for the pharma industry and for the hospital, which is only the patient. So if we follow these two principles of transparency and ethics, I think we're through. Definitely data tells stories. Data mapping is important, but ethics is primary. That's all.
Thank you very much. So I think data sharing, interoperability, sustainability, cost efficiency, and of course the challenges of regulatory compliances and opportunities for scaling up the AI-driven solutions. I think that will kind of foster the public-private partnership and further strengthen our ecosystem. I thank all the panelists who have joined us here, and I think hope all of you all had a wonderful session. Thank you.